Hey, brothers and sisters in Christ, it's Kelton here, and man, I hope you're having a blessed day today. And y'all, what a crazy world we live in today. So if y'all are wondering where I've been for the past week, I felt that God was leading me to a season of watching and listening, and that's basically what I've been doing. I've been just watching, and one of the things that I came across recently is this Post Malone thing. I know it's happened a while ago, but I felt like I felt led to address it because it's one of the things that I was taken out of. It's one of those things that I came out of, and I wanted to share my views about it. So this kind of takes me back to before my testimony when I was doing music. I was doing a lot of music, and I was hardcore music. I was in EDM. My page is actually still on, but I don't want to share it because I've actually stopped using that page. But just know I used to make a lot of EDM. Some of you already know that, but some of you already know the pages, and that's great. But uh, yeah, I was in a dark place before I came and switched gears. Um, but I came across that Post Malone video, right? And it reminded me of where I was before. Now, of course, I wasn't like him or anything. Definitely wasn't into the spirits and all that stuff in the music industry. I was not into all that. I already knew not to, like, I wasn't up in all that. But I didn't notice it. When I was doing music, I saw a lot of it in the industry, especially in the EDM world, because you got the festivals. Like, I always wanted to perform at Ultra Festival, Tomorrowland, EDC, Bass Nectar. I can name all types of festivals, you name it. But like, I saw what was going on in the industry, and that's one of the things that God pressed on me to lead me, to pull me out of that. Now, I do think God has not told me to stop making music, but not to pursue in that way. I'm not making no more secular music. For now on, it's either gospel or maybe an instrumental here or there. But like, I'm not doing that because I was in a dark place. And the reason why I feel so qualified to talk about this is because I was in that position at some point. I was in that position where I was a lukewarm Christian, and my prayers were just this. My prayers used to be just, God, make me famous, and I'll glorify you with my fame. And like that, it was just so wrong. And the thing about music is, because I dealt with these music, how do I say this? I dealt with these types of spiritual music things, and it ranges from just emotional music to subliminals and affirmations and things. I can get into that later. Biokinesis and all this stuff, binaural beats and things. Y'all, I knew I knew how to tap into every single, like, y'all, it was crazy too because I wasn't very successful when I was doing music, but I still knew how to do things. But the point of me saying all this is that, I've actually DM'd some known artists before, and like, you could just tell, like, they don't care about the fans. They only care about the money. They only care about what's there. And to the point that they're willing to sell their soul for fame and music. And the whole point of music, God created music for his glory. It was meant for the kingdom. It was meant for worship and praise. It wasn't meant for our own gain. And people take music and think it's all about me, when in reality, music came from the creator. So out of appreciation from God, we should be making music for him. Because here's the thing, because in my years, I've been doing music for 6 years, 6.5 to 7 years. And in my time, I've realized more and more every single year how much of an emotional impact music has on you. And I can assure you, take my word for it, because I was making music. Most of the music out right now is made out of either depression or anger. Those are the two top emotions of making music. And I noticed it because I used to make music, like, I would just be mad and I would start making beats. And I'm like, dang, this is fire. But then I listen to my old music now. Like, there's be times, like, I'll sit in my room over here and I'm like, dang, listen to my own music. And I'm like, dang, this is kind of brutal. I mean, it has no lyrics. It was EDM. It was like dubstep and all that. But like, dang, this, like, I guess the beat sounded good, but like, it was rough. It was dark. Heck, one of the songs on my album, that I did, before I made the transition in my life to come to truly work for Christ is that one of the songs on my album, the third song I think was called Dark Figure. I mean, that's how dark my life was when I was doing that. Because I was only caring about myself, and the whole time I was just seeking fame. I was seeking all these things. And guys, that is really the motive of most of these artists out here. And I was in a group chat with a bunch of artists. We made a bunch of, like, we all had the same motives. It was all about us. It was all about our own fame. And we forgot about the reason, we forgot to humble ourselves. And that allowed spirits within our own music, other people's music, to get in us and try to pump us up. We use music to influence ourselves to make more music. And the thing about that is we used intense, angry music. So then I would hate to hear gospel music. I would hate to hear all like the happy like woohoo music, you know? Like I just want everything like like just crazy. And I just want to point that out because like some artists that I've actually talked to, just not even big artists. I'm talking about like small artists like where I was at. Like you could just, now looking back, you could just kind of feel it. Like when you listen to their music, you could just feel it in the presence. Like there's something, a very angry, a very off vibe from it. And that should tell you like there's spirits in the music. I mean, you might not have to pray over the music. You might not have to curse it. You might not have to do all this other stuff. But the thing about it is music is one of the most powerful tools in the entire universe. Music affects your emotion. It affects the way you think. And I know this because I trained my ears in music. I literally trained myself with music before. Like I use sometimes music for encouragement. It will encourage you sometimes. It uses like it can affect the way your brain functions. Music, the scientific thing, especially if you are like a producer and you have really good ears, just the little things in the background that like normally people don't notice, but you notice, like it affects where your mind goes. It affects how distracted you get. It affects everything. And that's the power of music right there. And that's the reason why I want to make this message, is to point out that we need to watch out what we're listening to. And then just to top it all off, with all these artists, these influential artists getting all these kids into this music industry that's really just demonic. Like Post Malone, literally when he was performing in that video, I'm not sure if everybody saw it, but when he was performing in that video, it literally sounded like a demon was like speaking through the microphone. Like, guys, this demonic warfare in the music industry is real. And this is one of those things that God pulled me out of, thankfully, because at that point, all I cared about was music. It was music. It was music. It was working with these crazy artists. It was performing at all these festivals. That's all my mind was on. But then when Christ came into my life, a new light came into me, and I was like, I'm better than this. I'm worth more than this. And if I do make music, then it can be made for a greater purpose than to exalt myself. I can finally be part of something bigger than myself if I don't do this. And guys, take it from me, from a guy who's made music and used to make a lot of intense music like that. Listening, because I used to make it and I was around it all the time. Listening to music like that on a consistent basis will ruin your mind. It will cause you to be angry. There'll be times I'll go to school, I'm just angry for no reason. When I'm making music and I have to stop for some reason, I just get so angry and frustrated because like, dang, guys, you gotta watch what you're listening to. Music is just as powerful as listening to somebody talk. Is just as powerful as prayers even. Like at this point, music can affect your entire lifestyle. And that's the reason why, like, for instance, see, The devil himself, Lucifer, he was the angel of music. He was the chief of music in heaven before he was cast out. So don't you think that Satan would use music against us? And he's been doing it through Hollywood. He's been doing it through this music industry. He's been doing it through the labels and the programs and stuff. The labels don't care about people. They only care about money, fame, and whatever makes girls dance in a sexual way. That's all they care about. They only care about selling tickets. If you can't do that, they don't give a crap about you. They don't care. And that's how you know where the fruit is at. And that's another thing I want to point out. When you, especially if you are a musical artist, if you're watching this video and you are a musical artist, notice the fruit that's being produced by these labels. Notice the fruit that is being produced by the people in the industry, the people you look up to, the artists, the Lil Uzis, the Drakes, and the Riot 10s and the virtual riots and like all these artists out there that people listen to. Watch the fruit. How does that music make you feel? If it makes you feel anger or sadness or something, it's a tool that the devil will use to change your mind. I'm telling y'all from experience, music is actually medically used for therapy. Like in real life, you go to the doctor, sometimes they actually use music for therapy because it changes your mindset. Depending on what you listen to, it can mess with your mind. And I'm telling y'all from my own experience, a lot of the stuff that people listen to right now is causing them to fall so far down. And not to mention, back to things I was talking about in the beginning of the video, talking about subliminals and affirmations like that. You know how many times people have figured out, for one, you can play music backwards and you could hear like messages and stuff. But then most of all, the stuff that people don't want you to know, for those of you who do not do research and do go deep into the music stuff, sometimes people, I'm going to get a little bit techie with this next part because I'm just like that because of being in music for so long. But when you're recording a song, right, if you put it in a software and you have the master track, right, you can actually make a list of affirmations and in a microphone, record them onto the software and put all of the vocals, all that recording of all those repeated affirmations, constantly repeating, and you put it under like maybe 1 or 2 like negative 12 decibels or something, somewhere where it's right below the mix where nobody can hear. So basically you turn it down enough so you can't hear the affirmations, but you can hear the music over everything. That's how people make these subliminal tracks and how they make these affirmation things and these binaural beats and these weird frequencies, is because they put those recordings, and the whole time you think you're listening to a regular song, but little do you know, very quietly in the background, you can't even hear it, not even on regular speakers, you won't be able to hear it. But in the background, there's this frequency of that affirmation being constantly running through your brain. And you don't even know it, guys. This stuff is real. And I'm exposing the truth right now. I'm exposing the truth right now. Sometimes people, a lot of these artists, what they'll do to attract new listeners is to put these affirmations in people's mind. It'll be constantly running through, changing people's mindsets. The way this mind control stuff happens in the music industry is insane. And I want to let y'all know that, because that's why it's really important y'all watch the artists you're listening to. You do research. If you are a professional producer and you have good ears, make sure you listen for that stuff, because sometimes sometimes that's not done right. But there's actually been old cases like in rock music where the reason why a lot of heavy metal bands were getting discredited is because, or a lot of parents don't want their kids listening to that music, is because sometimes the rock artists, they literally have subliminal messaging in their music, and that's what that is. And the devil will try to use that to change your mind. And I ain't gonna lie, before I was saved, before I was when I was lukewarm, when I was off in my own way, I used to listen to subliminals, like alpha male subliminals and things like this. And yes, I did pray, and I anointed my head with oil. We like make sure everything gets out of my head, and just like just remove every subliminal affirmation. Let me start off clean, God, and God washed me with His Spirit, and it said, and I was clean at that point. And after that, I never had a desire ever since I gave my life to Christ, and told Him to wash that stuff out of my mind. I never wanted to. I never thought the way I thought anymore. I never wanted to listen to those things ever again. Like I felt a freedom. But the thing about it is, if you keep on listening to music like that, it will destroy you at some point. It really messes with your head. So yeah, you gotta watch what you're listening to and watch the artists you listen to. It might sound good, but in reality, in the background, there's something going on that you don't know about. It's about making money in the music industry. It's about business. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about that stuff. Heck, I talked to some young producers my age, like they'll say, collab, bro, I like your music, and the next thing you know, they're trashing you, or they're trying to just take advantage of your money, or they're not helping you promote the song that y'all work together with, and they're taking all the revenue at the same time. Like it's crazy, and you gotta watch what you're doing. So that's the message for today. I hope y'all received it. We are definitely in the last days, and the devil is definitely using everything he can to try to deceive the elect, non-believers, believers, everyone in his path. But we need to stay vigilant. We need to keep our eyes open to these things in the world. And we need to keep on researching. We need to keep on being more and more careful every day. It's gonna be hard because soon we're gonna be limited to such things that we probably won't barely be able to do anything. But at the end of the day, it's better to enter the kingdom of heaven having nothing in this world than to be left behind and be an enemy of God at the end of the day. And if we're all in this together, like, I mean, it's not the end if a couple things have to be removed from our life. And that's some things I been meditating on lately. So that's the message for today. Watch what you're listening to, because what you're listening to could possibly change your life for either the better or the worse. God bless you all. I hope this message encouraged y'all and informed y'all of what's really going on in this time that we're living in. And God be with you all. God loves y'all. And see y'all next time. Shalom.